Other than by secret and software programming, we format documents differently. So today, I'm going to be walking you through on how we format documents over Adano by secret and software programming. And the aim is to show you how we do this and why we do this. So firstly, have a look at one of the documents at the Dano by security. Now, at every single document you get to come in contact with that has been formatted, by the left, you'll be able to see document tabs. Document tabs is actually used to show you the different sections of a document. So one of the first things we do is to try to format the document in such a way that the most important sections are properly highlighted. So we'll do this using headers. Now every single document on the Google Docs can be formatted by headings. So for instance, the title of this document should be a heading 1, which if I double click over here, be able to see it's a heading 1 over here. Now, every single thing that comes in after a heading 1 must be a heading 2. So if the title of the document is heading 1, everything that comes in after it, every section after it is a heading 2, which you can see right here. For an example, team overview is on heading 2. Now, every single section that follows, as long as they are just directly under heading 1, it means they would all use heading 2. The only time we use heading 3 is if the title is under another section. So let me explain. For instance, this is the heading 1. It is the title. Now, anything under the title is a section. This team overview is a section. So if you look at here right now, you can see that this is the title and this is a section. You can see that the section is inside this title and it gave a bit of a space. Now, every other thing inside here has almost the same rank. They're just different section. The team overview is a section. The functions is a section. The goals is a section. The reporting hierarchy is a section. You can see they're all linearly in the same section. However, when we get to the job titles, which is the job titles of the people in the management team, example on this document, you will notice that once again, the thing has shifted a bit. Just the same way it shifted at this section, it shifted here. Now it has shifted here again. So now it has shifted one more here. Now this is because this is a section, but inside the section, we have all the sections. For instance, we have the manager section and the assistant manager section. So this simply means that if we're to draw this thing right now, let's assume we're to draw it. Now, that place it says job title. This job title is a section. So because it's a section, we gave it a heading 2. You know, anything that is after the heading 1, which is the title of the document, is a heading 2. And so the heading 2 is a section. So we'll call this a section. Now, sometimes a document could have just the heading 2 and the text, which is just a simple explanation. Like for instance, if you check above over here, where it says at the beginning overview, the overview was just straightforward. It tells you what the management team was all about. There is no other header here. We did not have another section inside, just an explanation. So for something like this, we'll leave it as a normal text. Now, the key functions. The key function was just listing the things that are the key functions of the management team. So this is just still a normal text. Now, if we scroll down to objective, still the same thing too. Objective, it's still a section. It gives you like a couple of things, which I think this is a list because this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. It's still normal text like you can see over here. But however, since it's a list, listing out things, I can put this and make it what we call a list, a numbered list, which is over here. Good, it's still a numbered list. But don't forget that it's still a normal text. The reporting hierarchy, still the same thing. It's a normal text like you can read. So it's still the same thing, a normal text. Now, every single thing from the team overview, which is a section, down to reporting hierarchy were sections that did not have another title or sections in them. Now, as we got to job titles, we now got to notice that now job titles had 2 sections. So inside the job titles, we had 2 sections. The first section is the manager, which is what explains the job of the manager. And the second section is the assistant manager. Now, each of this section, because they are a different section of the documents, there will be what we call a H3, which is a header 3. Now, if I take you back here, you would see clearly that the moment we get to the section where it says job titles, this is it over here, job titles. If you look up here, you can see that job titles, it's a heading 2 because it's a section. However, inside job titles, we have the manager, which is the manager title. Now, the manager title is a heading 3, like you can see over here. Now, that is because, like I said, it's a section that has its own section. So the manager title has, other things in it. If these were just text, would have make it a normal text. So let's assume the manager title just had a normal text. Would have left this as a normal text. Nobody would have bothered to modify it further. But inside the manager, which is the manager subsection, which is H3, we still had other subsections. Like for instance, after the manager, inside the manager, we have the core responsibilities of the manager, we have the core expectations of the manager, and the reporting hierarchy. So just like I was showing you before, now remember that H2 is the section after the title. So any section after the title is H2. Now any section inside that H2 becomes a H3. And now inside that H3, if there is other section, it becomes a H4. So on this section, we have a H4. Now the H4 contains things like the responsibilities, the expectations, it contains things like who reports to who, like these managers, who do they report to who in the firm. Now, if I take you back over here again, you'll be able to see that this job title, like I said, heading 2, the manager, heading 3, but now the core responsibility, the core expectation, and the reporting hierarchy, because they are all under the heading 3, which is the heading 3, now they become a heading 4. So if you want to really be able to visualize this more, look at where it says manager over here. So you notice that the manager is under the job title. As you can see that the manager is inside the job title. And now if you look down here, you'll be able to see every single section around the sections inside the manager. So this just shows you pictorially that all the sections are under the manager. And then if I take you to the assistant again, you'll be able to see that the assistant as well is under the assistant manager too. And then you can now also see that both of them, they're all different sections, which is heading 3 and heading 3, which are all subsections of heading 2. So this is how to sectionize documents at Dcssp by making them into sections.